Anyway, my point is that I can't speak clearly because these Brits have made me anxious about what I'm saying now, and it's not their fault. It's not their fault. They're just trying. Are
you worried? Is it that they're making you more aware of the way you pronounce things, as you know, with regards to just American English, or is it a British pronunciation versus American English pronunciation?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. It's the inclusive yes.
I mean, I don't know.
That. And say. Perhaps more.
I don't like making you small. I know that didn't answer your question. I can't see your head. I can't see your beautiful head.
Well, just treat me better, and it'll.
No, that's true. Yeah, that's true. No, it's that I don't. I get caught up in thinking about how I'm sounding and not how I just speak.
Right. Yeah.
And then if you do that, it's not natural, and you begin to sound like someone. And I'm doing it now. I'm over enunciating.
Welcome to the enunciation seminar.
To my home. It is a pleasure to meet you.
I promise I am quite sane.
Anyway, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. Yeah. I'm doing good. On the subject of that, sort of you think about it too much and so you start to goof up. I have recently, and it's been for a good 6-8 weeks now, completely lost my ability to elegantly crack and break open an egg.
Similar thing happened to me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I like one time I did it and it goofed up and I broke the yolk or something like that. And then I started overthinking it. And then every time I pick one up now, I'm trying not to goof it up and I'm trying to do it right. And it just causes me to like it squirts out the top, or I push the thing and it
what are you doing?
You whack the, well, see, that's my point. I like whack it on the thing, on the counter or whatever. Yeah. And then the cracking happens in a bizarre, not expected way. Like
uncontrolled
it goes
fashion.
Vertically instead of across the middle. And then so when I open it, it'll like shoot out the top or I'll get the thing where I'll get a pretty decent, like, I don't know what you would call that, an impact circle, you know, where it kind of crushes the thing.
I'm sure that's the culinary term.
It is. And the forensic term as well. But you get a good circle there where the eggshell is crushed, but the membrane is keeping it together. And so you have to kind of push it in with your thumbs to get it to open. But just the act of doing that causes it to squirt right onto my shirt. And it's like every time I try to do an egg now, it's like a friggin' Lucy skit. It's like ridiculous.
You should record it. You need to record that.
I should put Yakety Sax from Benny Hill in the friggin' soundtrack. That's me making an omelet, folks.
I think so. Something similar happened to me where we had gotten this Brava oven. Have we talked about the Brava oven?
Yeah. The sort of
the Easy Bake for adults.
The Williams-Sonoma Easy Bake.
and I watched some video where they said you should crack the egg on a flat surface.
Yeah.
Because then that will reduce the likelihood of shell being in the egg.
Right.
I've never really had much of a problem with having shell in the egg, but I've always been a crack it on the rim of something person.
Yeah.
But I thought, well, I'll give this a try. Okay. But then I found myself in need of a flat surface that I didn't care about getting egg on. Like you can't just crack it on the counter. Or, I mean, you can, but then you have to clean up. You're going to get egg. You're going to get egg on it. I mean, that's what I'm trying to avoid.
I mean, I do crack it on the counter, but to your point, I do have to clean up egg as well.
And you got to get like the hazmat suit out and everything else. It's like a whole thing. So I started doing that, but then I was like, this is silly. it's actually not helping at all. And sometimes it's making it bad because I go to, and typically I am creating an omelet or scrambled eggs, so it's not that big of a deal if the yolk breaks. Yeah. If I am doing fried eggs,
you have to crack a few eggs to do that.
Yes. Anyway, I tried to go back to the other way, and now I'm overthinking it.
Yes.
So I'm getting egg on me. And I'm like, how is this happening?
You have regressed.
The other day, it shot out.
I did the same thing.
And it cleared me. It got some on the counter, and then somehow it was like magic bullet of egg whites. It like
back and to the left.
Made its way over the edge of the counter, and then took a hard dip down and hit my foot.
Oh wow!
So I had egg on my foot.
Wow, it is hard to make a line between.
That's what I'm saying, and now I'm like, okay, because the Aussie's looking at me, just waiting for any opportunity to get anything. So she sees, I see it in her eyes. She's like, oh, I see what just happened.
And in case nobody knows, that's his dog, so it's not like his daughter.
Yeah. Right, I might have a daughter named Aussie, right? It's
exactly.
My Australian Shepherd.
Who knows?
I thought, after 35 episodes, people would kind of have figured out that, but now.
Yeah, we got new guys.
Really? I'm so sorry. But if this is your first time joining us, apologies. There won't be a flow chart, but the good news is there won't be a quiz either.
The bad news is the rest of the episodes are just like this one.
That's right. That's right. So if you're still with us, you might as well stay. So she looks. I'm looking. I'm like, oh no, she's gonna come after my foot and try to lick my foot, and that's not gonna be good because of the hazmat situation. And then
sure.
It was all very tense. She actually didn't. I gave her the look. She didn't end up coming at me.
Egg motivated standoff with the dog.
I did have to make my way to a paper towel to get my foot. And you know what it's like to try to lift your foot in such a way that you can wipe it.
Walked weird.
And you know what? The walking over part wasn't the problem. It was getting.
We're trying to like balance.
Down. Well, I'd have to bend. I'd have to bend down to get the egg, and then I do have to worry about the Aussie seeing that I left the counter unmanned.
Yeah,
because I hadn't done the requisite push away, so that she can't get to the stuff.
Oh, right.
She's an opportunistic dog. A lot like your dad.
She knows how to get things done.
Yeah, so I'm with you on the egg thing, but the communication thing, it happens there too. It happens with communication. It happens with word choices when I'm writing. It happens with walking. We've talked about that. Yes,
yeah, where you start trying not to walk weird and you end up walking weird.
Great. I could never, God forbid, if I was ever a pitcher, I would never be a pitcher. Like even the Bad News Bears, Bad News Bears would say, "Right field, buddy, right field."
You beamed the outfielder.
Walter Matthau would send me on a beer run. Probably is what would happen. So it actually wouldn't be a bad deal. So, but if I had the skill, I wouldn't. I would be overthinking it all the time. I'd choke. I would be hitting batter after batter.
Oh yeah.
Can't. I don't know what to do. It's like there's this sweet spot in life where, and I think it was when I was in my early 20s. There's a sweet spot in life where you, at least in my experience, have accumulated enough experience and knowledge to actually do some things. But you haven't accumulated enough bad experience to know that you shouldn't even attempt to do some of these things.
Right.
And so there's this power of naivete that resides in that space, like that I don't
Sounds
know.
Like a great title for a book for you.
I don't know that I should be asking for this thing that I'm asking for. I don't know that I should. Like no one in their right mind would be calling this person and asking for a meeting or trying to accomplish this thing in this period of time, or like all sorts of crazy stuff. For me, it was very much related to career, right? But for other people, I think it could be related to adventure, or stunts, or I don't know, financial risks, or
interpersonal relationships.
Well, that too. Like I think, but there's but there's this beauty and this power that's in that moment, and then once you begin to get dents in the fender, you start to realize, oh, maybe I shouldn't drive as erratically or as quickly. Maybe I should be. I mean, that's another thing. That's another thing. Driving. Now I got to tell you, my car. She can't hear me right now. I'm not real happy with my car.
Oh, yeah?
There's so many things I like about my car. Actually, some things I love about my car. I have a Honda Accord. It's a Honda Accord, but it's like the touring model, so it's like it's got sport mode, and so it's just a fast, and it's powerful when it needs to be, but it's also sort of elegant and graceful when it needs. It's kind of a perfect vehicle for a middle-aged dude, frankly.
Yeah.
Dad kind of thing. But what I don't like about it is that there's something about the design of the hood, the nose of the vehicle, that changed. That just, I don't know if it elongated or something, but they changed it in such a way that it doesn't have the same sight line that I had with my other Accords.
Oh, okay.
And it kind of feels like I've never really learned. I mean, I kind of feel like I'm driving. Have you ever driven like a big Cadillac? Like a classic, or like a Lincoln or something, like giant. They have those giant fronts on them. And when you're making a tight turn, or like into a parking spot sometimes, or something like up against a curb, maybe. At some point, you basically are just on a wing and a prayer. You're like, I think I got it.
Nothing.
But I also may scrape the crap out of my tires, or my wheels here. Like I really, and I just find myself, because I've had a couple of those experiences now, because of the change of the dimensions of the vehicle. I now find myself questioning all sorts of things when I'm driving. In those scenarios, not like fast driving, not like highway driving, but like there's a little, I got to turn here, I got to make this turn here.
Yeah, I fit in there?
I feel like a little granddad. I'm like, you got to get in this parking lot, don't be very careful.
I know that I'm paranoid about that myself. I go by particularly with a parallel parking space. I'm like, the distance between that car and that car, will my car fit in there? And there could be enough room for two of my car in there, and I'll still go, I don't know. And it's ridiculous. And it's because I'm paranoid like that. And that one is a worse situation, because parking in a parallel parking spot, you are invariably inconveniencing who the heck ever is behind you trying to drive straight on this road. Right. And so you know that if you start to park in here, and it does turn out that you don't have enough space to put your car in there, now you've doubly impacted this dude's day.
Right.
And I feel like crap when I do that.
Yeah.
And so it's like it's worth it to me to just go find somewhere else.
Too.
Right, true. And I'm not even usually one for the whole manhood thing, but that one is one that's like,
are we bringing that
it's
topic
almost
up?
like an adult, well, we don't have to, but it's almost like an adult competency thing. It's not even really a manhood thing. It's like, am I mature enough to even be driving this car if I have no clue how big it is in, three-dimensional space outside of my own personal sphere of experience here. If I can look over there and say, yes, it'll fit in that space, then I'm good. But apparently I can't do that, because I grossly overestimate the size of my car. It's like, apparently if my car was the size I think it is, it would be like a weird Addams Family car.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it sounds very sexist to say it, but I do think there is this. Not that it's supposed to be this way, but like I think that among men, there is this. I don't know, some element of pride that's based upon one's ability to make that kind of parking maneuver in one smooth motion. And it depends on where you learn to drive and where you typically drive, because people who have lived in the suburbs all the time or out in the rural areas, they don't have these situations typically to worry about as much. Right. If you're in a city environment, it's all the time.
Yeah.
Or a college campus, for example.
Oh boy.
but yeah, there's something poetic about being able to just pull right in. Everything's just perfect. Everything just flows, right? Perfect. Mm-hmm. Every vehicle I've owned up until this one, I've been able to do that. This one, it's because I can't trust my understanding of the nose of the vehicle. I don't know where it ends. It's like infinity. It's like one of those infinity pools. It is like the car equivalent of an infinity pool.
And it's worse even because it's curved. And you're like, what event horizon am I looking at here? Is this halfway down the hood? Is this close to the front? I don't even know, because it's hard to tell. It's all one shiny monochromatic surface. I can't judge depth.
Right.
And I've got a bad eye, so I can't judge depth anyway. So and it's like when I would drive my mom's car, she had a Cadillac Sedan DeVille when I was growing up. And I loved the heck out of driving that car because there's a hood ornament on it.
So you can see right where the end is.
Ambiguity of where the end of this car is. There it is. There's the end of it and there's the middle of it, so that I can know, am I driving like too far to the right or too far to the left? This is an instinct now that I'm 47 years old and have been driving for a long time. But when you're 16, 17, it's hard to tell. And you got to be like, all right, I'm going to put the stripe that goes down the right side of the road roughly on the middle of the hood of the car. That should put me about right. Makes it perfect. But now with all these, super sleek cars, man, you can't tell anymore. And the death of the hood ornament. That's
well, people would yank them off. People were pulling them off anyway.
That's true.
I don't know if I mentioned this before or not, but who cares? In California, when I moved to California, I thought something was wrong with me. Like I thought I was losing my mind or something was happening, and because I couldn't stay in the lines.
Uh-huh.
Like in my lane, I would like drift. I'm like, what is wrong with me? And then I really thought something was wrong. And then I went back to Maryland and I was driving, I think it was Maryland or maybe Colorado or something. I started driving there and no problem at all.
Oh,
and I realized when I got back to California, it's because these, I don't know, I don't want to use an inappropriate word, but these dingleheads, like, they weren't laying the lines down the straight.
Right.
they're like all like angled. There are these weird angles and stuff, and they're like not. They don't follow.
Like, whatever.
Where do they have putting these lines down? It doesn't make any sense. No sense.
That was the recreational marijuana out there.
Yeah, I mean, you're not kidding. This is actually before it was legal too, but I don't know.
Well,
I know it's still California, still San Francisco. Anyway.
One thing, a coda to the egg thing, because I meant to mention this earlier. Another thing that I can't do, and I have never been able to do this. So in my defense, this is not something that has deteriorated. It just has never happened at all.
Okay.
And that is, and you see it on like cooking channels and all this stuff. I have never in my life been able to crack the egg and split the egg open with the one hand.
And without getting shell in.
Without like looking like I am the Hulk who is angry at eggs. Because what'll happen is I'll be like, tap, tap, crunch, and it'll be like.
Don't you have to like get your finger?
Like an empty can of Natty Light.
You gotta like get your fingers on the edge and then pull it
good
apart.
With
like
my hands. I do
that.
things with my hands a lot, but for some reason that's a nut I can't crack, so to speak.
No.
But doing the little
cracking the nut,
like that,
not a problem for you. Opening the nut
crushes it completely. Yeah, I can crack the heck out of it. Well, I used to be able to. I've gone backwards on that a little bit. But
see, I think
splitting
maybe
it open, good.
That's the thing. Like I think a lot of the I don't know. I was going to say defects. That's not appropriate. A lot of
I don't know. It might be.
a lot of the loss of function, or reduction of function that we see in the elderly.
Yes.
That we attribute to just getting old.
Right.
Like that is some. I actually think it's this. It could just be the accumulation of self-doubt.
That could be it.
It's just the accumulation of self-doubt. It's just like I'm thinking, like, the last time I moved something really heavy in my garage by myself that I wasn't supposed to, I ended up hurting my back again. And I'm still, and that was in November, December, like I'm still having some residual.
Yeah.
It's almost gone, but but now I'm afraid of hurting it again.
Yeah. And
So now
you
what's that mean?
overcompensate.
So now I'm not lifting heavy things. And if I'm not lifting heavy things, my muscles are going to atrophy. I literally woke up this morning at 3 a.m. worried about this issue. I kid you not.
You're worried about the like.
I was worried
losing
about
the atrophy.
I've got to start lifting heavy things again, but like I'm worried about my back and stuff. And then I started thinking like, oh my God, what if I don't? What if I never get back at it? This is it. This is the end. This is the decline. This is when it starts. Right here, right now, at 3 a.m. This is the moment.
Hour of the wolf, baby.
This is the moment, right? That's what I was thinking. But maybe that's the truth. Maybe that's what happens. Maybe people get frail and weak because they stop lifting heavy things after they hurt themselves.
Could be. And the thing is that even if you were lifting stuff, when you're lifting it, you suddenly become self-conscious about the way that you're lifting it, and you try your hardest not to lift it wrong. And in doing so, you lift it wrong and you hurt your back.
Yep.
What is wrong with the brain? I'm hoping this is something everybody experiences.
No, I hope they don't. I hope that everyone
me.
else gets to slip by this. You know, I hope
because if
that
it's just me,
you're not
that's
experiencing this.
It's not just you. Be a problem.
You know, it's at least me, right?
Yeah, true. I mean, at least there's two of us.
So we have an N of two.
Maybe it's something in the water around here. I don't know.
No, it started before this. I do believe there's something to this. There's something to the minute that you begin to question what you know, how you do something, whether you're going to hurt yourself, whether you're going to do it right, whether like the minute you begin to think about those things, things that were previously either literally muscle memory or the equivalent of muscle memory, you shift it. It's like we talked about with the breathing, right? Like, like as soon as you think about like, oh, I have to breathe. Now you're like, oh my God, I have to remember to breathe, right? Imagine if for the rest of your life, because you thought of it, now you have to remember to breathe.
You can never go to sleep.
Like that's. Well, then you end up like me. 3. No, dude, you do that thing. I have those moments where, fortunately, it's not frequent, but it happens, where I have that startle awake thing. Has that ever happened to you?
Yeah. Oh, God, yes.
And I swear that sometimes I think, did I stop breathing? Like, did you like...
Right.
Like, and then you're like, is it safe for me to go back to sleep?
Yes. I get that. Oh, my God.
What is wrong with
me?
I don't know.
Because you can almost like think back a little bit to the moment just before that, and you can feel that you were not breathing,
right?
And that you know, because you. Why? Why
I don't know. Maybe what's happening is our significant others are like reaching over and like holding our nose. They just like did a little nose close thing, and then that's something they read in like Women's Day or something, and then like how to screw with your husband.
The quiz.
Yeah. How to read? It's like. How to remind him that he's mortal.
Yeah.
It's like when I woke up.
No need for that. My own actions do that on an almost hourly basis.
Right. What about bumping in? Do you bump into things?
Oh God, so many times. Like I got scars on my body just for randomly whacking my arms on things.
This is not a new thing for me. This is a thing that I think is genetic because my mother does the same thing. Like, it could be a house that I've lived in my entire life, and I will round the corner as if I am like a NASCAR driver trying to get as much kind of efficiency on the turn as possible. Like, and I will invariably bump into the wall. Like,
I'll do it. Oh my God!
And look at the wall, like. Who moved the wall there?
That come from?
Did we narrow the space here or something? And when you're alone, it's fine. But when people see it, especially if it's your kids, and they're like,
because you're like, I swear I'm not an alcoholic. I'm not.
You're like, really? Like,
I'm not on the special pills.
You just walked into that wall, Dad. You just walked into the wall.
There's a couple of massive scratches on my watch from just, fucking the crap out of it. Like on a banister or a doorknob or something. For literally no reason whatsoever.
My in-laws, I tell you, they see now I'm starting to get paranoid about stories. Like I've told all these stories already, which I probably have because it's 35 episodes. But my in-laws used to have that they had in this house that Michelle grew up in, the staircase, and at some point they put up spackle on the stair, like on the wall in the staircase. Well, when you run your hand down the banister, is that what that's called? Like the stair, the handrail and the stairs, not like a I don't know.
Yeah, banister.
Yeah. See, there it is again.
I think there's probably an architectural difference between that and just a handrail.
Not a barrister, but
not a barrister. That's how they pronounce lawyer in the UK.
Banister. Here we're gonna. It is a banister. See, it is a banister. It is a banister.
It may be only the free floating one. I mean, the free one. The one that's like bolted to the wall might not technically be a banister.
I'm with you. Yeah, that could just be a handrail. Anyway, the one bolted to the wall didn't give enough clearance in some spots that if you're running your hand down it, I literally would cut my knuckles open. And so at some point, there was like this, like over the course of time, a bloody trail of Jason's bloody knuckle. That because I never said anything, but like, I think I still have scars from it.
There's this blood streak on the wall.
But you don't learn. I don't learn. Because if I don't hold on, I'm going to slide. I'm just going to slip down. No, I'm going to slip down the stairs. Have you ever done that? Your feet go out from under you. And
I haven't done that as much. I tell you the one that I do.
Spooky, and that happens.
Oh God, I have done it a couple times. It sucks. But the one that I will do bizarrely, and our townhome thing here is 3 stories, so I go upstairs a lot, and I will go upstairs, and I will just start going like that, and I'll have to grab the handrail and go
going up the stairs.
Yeah, just going up the stairs. Like my feet will go too far, and my head will get behind my feet just a little bit.
How does that happen though? Like your feet are actually going faster than your upper body.
Yeah, just a little, just enough to where I stop and have to go
doing a wheelie. You're like doing a
basically. And if I'm not paying attention, or maybe if I'm paying too much attention, I don't know. One of the two happens. I go, what? And I have to
That's never happened.
And it's not much. It's just by a little bit. It's enough to where I'm off balance enough that I can't go forward any. Because I can't direct my.
That's gotta be unsettling.
Walking is just controlled falling, right?
Yes, right.
And so I used to take Aikido, so but
I used to go to IKEA.
I get to that or the IKEA as well. That is its own martial art, knowing how to do things at IKEA. But yeah, if you go too, you get too off balance, or perhaps too on balance, and you're not keeping that forward momentum going, but you're expecting to maybe, and then so it'll kind of shift backwards. I don't know, but I will go like that, and it's not a danger. It's not like, boy, that was close one. It was just kind of and I have to correct, what's going on. I mean, I could take a step back as well, but
did you run up the stairs with all fours when you were a kid?
When I was a kid? Oh yeah.
I missed that.
The house I grew up in also had three stories, and so I was like always, especially in the ones that ran up to my room.
Yeah, I mean, you can, because they were carpeted,
right? So you can blah.
Oh yeah. Even if you have to turn corners, it's still faster.
Yeah.
Right. When did we stop doing that?
I don't know, and I feel like that, and maybe it's because I've lost.
I feel like
agility or something like that. I feel like if I tried to do it now.
Oh, you've tried?
I think. No, I was saying if I tried to do it now, I worry that I would knock out some of my teeth.
No, you think you're gonna fall on your teeth?
Yeah.
Well, let's get. Okay, this is what you and I are gonna do. We're gonna get mouth guards. and maybe a helmet.
Crash helmets.
Yeah. And we're going to do it at your house because I don't have any stairs in my house because I'm pre-planning.
Good point.
I'm pre-planning because all the ways that I could possibly injure myself.
We'll have to do a special segment.
We'll get little GoPros on the
there you
helmets.
Go.
That'll be great.
Oh man, that would be. I like the idea of dressing up in full protective gear for this.
and then we'll come up with some kind of contraption, maybe sleeping bags or something, to slide down those stairs.
Oh yeah, see now that's
stuff.
Another thing, and I guess that's
that'll definitely screw my back up.
Oh man, backs are stupid. Man, at some point I'm going to sit down with a doctor.
That's probably how I did screw my back up.
And say, what is up with backs? Why are they so different than the rest of the muscles in the body? Because I have never pulled any other muscle, just coughing weird. If I cough or sneeze, you know, at a weird time or in a weird direction, or my head is turned just slightly to the side, and I might strain a back muscle.
Really?
But only a back muscle. Yeah,
it's just a muscle.
It doesn't happen a lot.
Is it like a
but
cramp?
The thing is
I
can hurt my back. The point being, I can hurt my back doing extremely mundane, shouldn't be hurting any part of my body things. I could help. Like the other day, one of the guys that lives in my little compound here needed help moving one of these. We have some grates that do go into the storm sewer in the driveway area. Mm-hmm. My friend Mark needed some help lifting up one of these, and then we were putting these little spongy, rubbery kind of things in there because they're high on two corners, and so they wobble. And so when somebody drives over them, it goes whack, whack.
You know? It sounds like Law and
everybody
Order.
hates it.
Right? Clang,
and so, yeah, it's like we're shifting from law to order a lot during the day. And so we were lifting those, and they're heavy as hell.
Yeah, they are.
We had like 4 guys out there doing this. But
if you have crowbars, it makes it a lot easier. It's like
that's true. But we did not. We had one set of gloves.
All about the tools. It's all about the tools, man.
It is. It really is leverage. Woo. Yep. But I lifted it up, and it was a decent heaviness, and I can do that just fine. I could do that all day long, and then the next day I could cough, and then my back goes, and I have to lay on the ground for like an hour and a half trying not to move a muscle because
I feel like you spasm. Sounds like a muscle spasm actually to me.
It could be. But the point is that
you're not interested in solving the problem.
My friggin' arm doesn't do that. My neck doesn't do that. My chest, my abdominal muscles, my lug muscles, nowhere else does that.
Do you want an explanation?
I don't.
Okay.
No. I do. It's trying to protect my spine. Is that
they're stabilizers, right? So as soon as it feels some kind of like weird tweak or strain or something on it, that's its job. Those stabilizers will just lock down, like don't move.
It's stupid because
it is. It's a biomechanical.
My spine is not in danger.
I know.
And I could tell it that if it would just listen to me.
Yeah. You know what it listens to? You know what it listens to? Muscle relaxers. That's
yeah.
Or get somebody like if you got a knot in or something, you get somebody to like press down. That works too.
Yeah, the back in I can't remember what year it was, 96, 97. I spent 6 weeks with a disease called Bornholm's disease. And
wait. We have to give appropriate attention to the name of this first.
Yes.
Bornholm.
Bornholm. Bornholm, named for a village on an island that was hit with an epidemic of this stuff.
It's not like I am Cornholio.
No, not Bornholio, no. I needed way more than TV for my bunghole on this, though.
Okay, so what happens?
What it is it's epidemic pleurodynia is the egghead name for this. but it's an inflammation of the membrane around the heart, or this is one of the symptoms. So it's pericarditis in that regard.
I was going to say pericarditis, right?
And then there's fever, but there's spasms in your back as well. And the problem is that the spasms are exacerbated by the pain that's coming from the pericarditis, and the pericarditis is exacerbated by the back spasms as well, because
the nerves
it's pulling this way, and then this is expanding your chest, and it hurt so bad just to breathe in, like a lot. And I have never, when I would sneeze, or when I would start to sneeze,
terrifying.
I would go in like that, and my body would like abort the sneeze because it hurt so much. It would be like, never mind.
let it crawl up there. It's all fine.
This is fine. Whatever that is, we can live with it. But one of the things that they got me on, when I finally found somebody who knew what it was, that alone took ages to find somebody who even knew what was happening to me. And so once I got that, I got these muscle relaxers called Soma.
Oh, yeah. That's the good stuff.
That's what I'm saying,
dude,
man.
that stuff. Oh.
And once I was on the Soma, and they threw some Lortabs at me, and
you don't even need
I
that.
was like, we're good.
So I had this bout. I had never had a muscle relaxer in my life, and I had 2 back surgeries, right? Mm-hmm. So in California, I had this episode where I don't even remember what precipitated it. I don't know. I don't know that there was an event of some sort. I just know it started getting bad. It was I blame my in-laws again with the bloody knuckles thing. They were visiting. We drove to Santa Cruz. We drove back that day, and it was on the drive back that I noticed I was starting to get like some back pain, like low back pain, and then it just kept getting worse in the next few days, until finally it got to the point where we were out, and I could hardly move. Like I couldn't even get up. Like everything was locked up, and it hurt just to move. And I got home, and I remember sitting in the recliner, and I think Michelle had gone to bed. The kids were in bed. I finished watching whatever I was watching on television. I go to get up. I couldn't get up. I couldn't get up. Like it was so painful that I couldn't even feel the pain because my body was like saying, no, you're not going. And so I ended up having to, I could, what was I able to do? I was able to move a certain way. Like it was like I couldn't use my muscles to stand. That was the thing, right? But I could move forward. Like I could lean into something and move the rest of my body without any pain at all. So I was able to get to the floor and to my back, and then like inchworm my way, like pushing on the floor. Thank God we had wood floors there, and pushing my way all the way back to the stairs, where then I was able to turn back over. And then I had to crawl up 2 flights of stairs. So I was wondering when the last time is that I crawled upstairs. Like it was then. That was the time. And
didn't go so well.
Well, no, I made it up the stairs. I made it all the way up the stairs.
I mean, it wasn't fun.
And then I had to like do the shimmy on the carpet up there, which that had to go more slowly because and finally I was able to get to. It was a whole thing. Now, a couple days later, I finally get an appointment with an orthopedic surgeon to go because I'm like, I probably need to get cut. Cut me, Mick. Cut me. So I go there. Fortunately, his name's not Mick. Young guy. And I'm like barely moving. I had enough. It was one of those things where it was worse at the end of the day than the beginning of the day, but like midday, I was able to get there. And of course, I'm driving myself, which I probably shouldn't. And I get there and I get to the office and everything, and I'm in this room, and this is the best part about these kind of things when you're a middle-aged guy and you go to these centers, orthopedic centers or wherever, and there's a room full of old people, and I mean old people. And they look at you like, what are you doing here, kid? You picking up your mom or something, your dad? Like, no, I'm here for me, man. I'm here for me. Anyway, so he's like examining me, blah, 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 whatever. And he says, I think it might just be some muscle spasms or something. Like, I don't think it's what you think. It's not like your normal thing. I think you're actually just like seizing up. So he's like, have you ever used Soma before? I'm like, no, never heard of it. It's like, so I'm going to give you this. don't drive. Like when you take one, don't drive. He's like, this will take care of it.
Yeah.
I got home that night. I took it immediately. He was like, magic pill? Yes, please. Right?
Yes.
And
it very much is.
Dude, one pill. That was it. One pill.
Your back surrendered immediately.
every symptom was gone. I didn't even have to take more. That was it. That was it. That stuff's the real deal, man.
Yeah, and it is. It saved my life when I was having that thing.
What's not fair is that you have to jump through so many hoops to get to that point. Like, you don't want that kind of narcotic to be readily available, right?
No,
but
that would probably be bad.
There needs to be an easier way to get it legitimately when you feel like you're going to die.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I don't want to have to go to the ER, right? That's in no one's interest. And I don't want to have to wait 3 weeks to get to see a doctor who's going to prescribe this for me. Like, please, something. Anyway. So that's tough getting old.
It is.
That's the lesson for you kids.
It is. That's kind of the ongoing theme of the show, actually.
Well, I can take it in a different direction if you're interested.
You can do what?
I can take it in a different direction if you're interested.
Oh?
Well, I've got a few things we haven't talked. I mean, we've been accumulating all sorts of
we
frustrations,
and because we got off on a tangent, not unlike the one that we got off on just now.
That's correct. That's correct. So
the one that I've been
go ahead.
Curious about the most is the one you sent me about, because I had kind of a similar sort of reply pin to this one, and that is the sharing of good news, the sharing of news, or the sharing of just anything you might give a rat's ass about.
Also known as how we know for a fact that Jason is a jerk.
Okay. We have scientific proof now.
Okay. Well, here's my rant. And I'll try to not make it as ranty as I can. But who are we kidding? There's something in my constitution that just makes it impossible for me to be tolerant of people celebrating their own victories.
Okay.
I don't know what it is. I don't know why it is. It is like reverse Schadenfreude in some ways. It's like, I'll give you an example. I'll get included on a text thread from someone telling me that they just received some award at work, or maybe a promotion, or maybe they've been published, or maybe, this is the best. Like when someone's kid has like gotten, accepted into this college program, or this done this or that or whatever, like, or they'll send pictures. God, they'll send pictures of like this wonderful thing that their child or nephew or somebody just did. And all I can think in my head in response is, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. And it's not that I don't care about them. I don't. It's not that I don't want good things for them. I do. If I heard it from someone else, like if someone said, hey, so-and-so just got this, or so-and-so just received XYZ recognition or something, I'd be like, oh, that's awesome. I might even text them back, hey, just heard about blah, blah, blah. Good job. Way to go, right?
It's that it's coming from the person.
It's the tooting of one's own horn that I have zero tolerance for. I can't.
Really? That's interesting.
I can't take it. Drives me up a wall. And there's some people who will remain, for my own protection and theirs, like, who must remain unnamed, is that's like their oxygen. Like getting getting the recognition is their oxygen, and therefore they have to they need some sense of self-agency to get that, because no one's actively putting it out there for them, and then they won't get the oxygen that they need to survive, right?
Okay.
And that's fine. But it ain't coming from me, buddy.
You just don't want to be involved in that.
Right. And I'll get trapped in these text threads where it's like a group. It's like a big group message. Like, achievement, achievement, achievement. And then, congratulations, congratulations. You're so amazing. You're so special. It's amazing. How are you even walking amongst us? Blah, 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 blah. And I can't leave the thread because everyone's getting a message saying, like, Jason has left the group.
Right, because I think that's a very passive-aggressive thing that, like, Facebook and some of these messaging things
why can't I just, like...
do is announce that you've gone.
Right, can't I just leave?
You can't
I can leave a party without saying anything.
Just be like, you know, fade into the blackness. Nope, they have to tell everybody.
I think we've mentioned this before. Like, I would pay extra for that feature, right? Please just let me leave. But
they are missing an opportunity there. Yeah. This
is that whole thing. That's the thread that I usually get caught up in that I just need to get out of, and I don't want it to be confused with me on being like not caring about somebody or thinking I don't want things to happen that are nice and good for people. It's not that at all. It's that in fact,
does it just feel needy to you?
Yes. And here's the jerky part, is that I'm the kind of person that if that happens, I will push back.
Where it's like, hey, my kid got A's and B's. And you're like, how do you screw up the 2 classes you didn't get A's in? What's wrong?
What happened with the other classes?
Not to get too Seinfeld about it, but silver medal, huh? Did you trip? You didn't hear the gun go off? What happened?
Like, that's the thing. Like, I can't. There's certain people in my life, apparently too many, who just crave the positive. Sure. Part. Yeah. I mean, we all need positive feedback and reinforcement, right? It feels there's something. I can't even describe it. I don't know that there's a term I can use that would appropriately describe it, other than it just feels unnatural to me. Like you don't do that. You just don't do it. You just don't do it.
It feels unnatural to
toot your own horn.
To do the thing they're doing.
Toot your own.
Yeah.
There's a small number of people where you can do that. Okay, here's the rule. In Jason's rule, like, it's okay to celebrate a small victory in your household, like amongst your nuclear family. It's okay to celebrate a small victory even with, I think, a parental unit.
Okay.
Right. It's okay to do that. Like, that's pretty much it. Maybe a best friend or something. Like, if you have somebody like, hey, let me tell you about this thing. I'm really, because for me, like, it would be like, if I felt like I needed it, I would go to you potentially and say, hey, Marcus, like, I got like I'm not telling a lot of people about this, but I wanted to share it with somebody. Here's this thing, right? And you'd say,
which you totally could do, because I'm not.
And then you'd be like, oh, that's great. Yeah, good for you. Blah blah blah. And the minute you would start saying, hey, great, I'll be like, I shouldn't have said something. You're gonna have to totally insert
for future reference, I'll be like, huh, okay, and that'll be it.
And now we're gonna get a visit from our friend, our buddy from Soren. That's great. I was wondering when he'd show back up.
Let's say 52 minutes.
What's the over/under on Jason laying out? So that's pretty much it. It's one of those things where when the words come out of my mouth, I know what I sound like. It sounds unreasonable and very jerkiness.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't help that you feel that way. I mean,
I would love, I don't know why. I'm sure there's a reason, and I'm sure I'm sure it has something to do with me being a middle child, probably, actually.
Oh, wow.
Like,
yeah.
there's probably that. Like, oh, yeah.
It does kind of reek of a middle child thing.
Right? Like, oh, it's always so great. Isn't that great?
Actually, I think you nailed it. There's no mystery here at all, I don't think. This is almost a textbook
Isn't
thing.
it good enough? Isn't it just enough to be success? Isn't it enough to just have a success? Why do
and
people
be happy that you did it? And then
why does it have to be celebrated?
Everybody else's problem.
You know, it's like, I don't know. I that's it. That's what I have.
Okay, so that was not what I was expecting.
What were you
on
expecting?
That. Well, I don't know. I figured it was something to do with social media because the thing that immediately made me think of.
It's
well,
everywhere.
yeah, I'm sure. I mean, it does. Yeah.
Yeah.
But a bit more. I don't know. Because it made me immediately think of.
Oh, there was one more thing I have to tell you about this.
Those the people that you have, and everybody has at least 2, 3 maybe people on your Facebook friends list who will herniate themselves to be the first one to announce a celebrity death. Have you seen this?
Oh.
Yeah.
Or any news item, really.
Any news item, but it seems to always happen with celebrity deaths. And it's like, RIP, whatever. And I mean, they're there before the guy's even dead, I think. It's almost like they've had a post saved.
It's the Twitter effect, I think.
Yeah, I guess so. Everybody wants to be the first one to say it. I mean, like I can see news outlets wanting to be the first to press with something. But this is just a random dude that for whatever reason really needs to tell you that. And as many people as we've lost in the last couple of years, I can't think of a single person that's died lately that's famous. But
really? I can name a lot.
Yeah, give me one.
Rush Limbaugh.
Rush Limbaugh.
I don't know why I brought his name. What? Hey, Jason, let's pick an even more controversial person to talk about. Good job.
Can you start with somebody easier? But like though. For some reason, I don't know. It's just there's something that compels them to be the first out there.
Yes.
Publicly mourning the death of
or celebrating the death. In that case, I mean, some people were out there.
Well, yeah, and that one that's
really? I mean,
life lived in that regard is going to get a mixed bag of response.
Yeah,
but
sure.
Like somebody like Christopher Plummer, for instance, recently died.
Yes.
And so he was I'm sure there are some people that hated his guts, but for the most part, everybody thought it was fantastic.
He did have some issues. Yeah, he was kind of a bit of a jerk. Yeah. That changed, I think, over time, but I think up and through the 70s, I think he was kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of like I don't think he was as bad as Chevy Chase, but
no, Chevy Chase. That's one that's
a different category
of bed.
Yeah.
But
it's really what I'm aspiring to, frankly.
But Chevy Chase is currently alive, though.
Yes, despite what he looks like sometimes.
That's true. Yeah, I feel really bad that not for him. If you're a jerk, then you should be called out for being a jerk. But I feel really bad that a person that was so sort of formative to my sense of humor when I was a kid, like I loved every Chevy Chase movie I saw. Fletch alone is a huge influence on my sense of humor, especially in my teens. But yeah, to find out that he was a total jerk like that, it's just, oh man. But it's always nice to find out somebody is extremely cool, like Keanu Reeves. It was like genuinely like a friggin' saint. Mm-hmm. So that's cool too.
Or Matthew McConaughey.
I don't know much about him.
Oh my gosh,
he was on.
Book, I haven't read his book yet, but I've seen so many interviews with him about his book. I feel like I've read half the book.
I've been wanting to listen to his episode of WTF with Mark Maron.
Oh, I just listened to it. I just finished it.
I want to listen to that.
Yeah, it's great. Great. That
same.
Also,
Mark
his Howard Stern interview.
Oh yeah.
I don't for those of you judging me right now, I don't regularly listen to Howard Stern, but it was sent to me, and it's a very good interview. He's a superb interviewer.
I tell you, Jeff Bridges is another guy that's really cool.
Oh yeah, Jeff Bridges.
Very, very cool.
I like him.
And he's one of those guys that like he is exactly how you think he is. Like Keanu Reeves is actually a lot more of a happy dude than you think, but simply because you're so used to seeing him in these kind of gritty, depressing or kind of movies. But he's a lot more like Ted Theodore Logan than he is like John Wick.
Yeah.
So that's cool. I don't know if we got up on that, but but yeah, it's just when you wrote the sharers of good news or whatever, I was like, oh, I wonder if that's anything related to like these people.
Well, there's a little
these heralds of celebrity death.
There's a branch off of my.
It's a great band name.
There's a branch off of my sharing of good news that's also bothersome to me. And this I know I definitely try to cut off at the knees when I can. It is anyone who's real excited about the work they just did.
The work they just did.
Yeah, they want to show off the work that they just did. There's a project they completed, or this thing they put together. Or they were like really excited. Sometimes it's something that someone's done for you in the workplace. Sometimes it's something that someone's done for their own personal stuff. You know, whatever. Like they get real excited. Oh, I got to share this thing that. And now I feel set up. I feel set up. Like, now I have to react. If I don't react appropriately, if I don't react excited and impressed, like you're going to feel...
Now, is this for things that aren't usually for public consumption and adoration?
No, they could be eventually for public
anything.
No, it could be for public consumption.
Like somebody painted a really awesome portrait and they want to show it.
I've never had that happen. Where someone like painted an amazing portrait. Like, here. I've never had somebody paint any portrait and say, oh, here, look at this. Look what I did.
Well, my point is, when you paint the portrait, it's there to get other people to look at it and appreciate. Whereas if you like arranged your garage or something, that isn't necessarily meant to be adored by other people.
Right, but I have had that happen too, where certain people will say, "Oh, look what I did here," and they'll show me their closet organization or what they've done to the dishes or something, and they're like, you know what I want to say?
Awesome.
You know what I want to say? I really don't care. And I don't mean that in a mean way. I know it sounds that way. I'm happy for you. I'm happy that you're happy. But that's a lot of pressure you're putting on me now. You want me to be happy for you.
And you watched a lot of Curb Your Enthusiasm lately or something.
No, it's like I don't care. It's like it's not that I'm judging you. It's not that I don't care about you. It's that
So this thing showed me irrelevant completely.
What's going to happen here now is that I'm going to look bad in your eyes. You're going to think lesser of me because my reaction is not going to be as enthusiastic as you need it to be to fuel your fire, to serve as your oxygen, right? So thank you for shifting this burden to me now. So I have to now pretend.
This is my problem.
So either we can be in a relationship built on lies, or I can tell you straight out, I don't care. What am I supposed to do in this? Like, what do I do? Like, what do I do? Like, pretend? I'm either pretending or I'm a jerk. Like, I don't know what to do. It's like, we get right back to that line again, Marcus. It's the line between being a pushover and being a jerk. Like, I don't know where it begins and ends. It's like the front of my car. Like, I don't know.
You need a hood ornament.
I need a hood ornament.